Hello everyone, my name is Dee and welcome to Books and Quirks. Today I'm going to be giving you my wrap-up of everything I read this past week. I managed to get a lot of reading done and managed to finish out my October TBR, which I'm super happy about. So yeah, let me get into the books that I was able to finish. So the first one that I want to talk about is Sandman by Neil Gaiman. This is the graphic novel pick that I picked for the Spooktober readathon Spooktober challenge that was given this past week. So I really enjoyed this. It was a very weird graphic novel. The art was okay, but really why I picked this up was for Neil Gaiman's writing. I think that, I really enjoyed trigger warnings so much that I wanted this to be my pick for the graphic novel. And this is about a Sandman, a person called the Sandman, who is sort of the king of dreams. He's sort of a dream demon, and he has the ability to give you a nightmare that sort of can last forever, or even not just a nightmare, but sort of can leave you in an everlasting dream until you sort of wither and die. So I really enjoyed this. It was quite strange. I don't know if it was necessarily scary, but parts of it did creep me out. So I'm anxious to start the others. This I got from the library, so I'll probably get the others from the library as well. But this is an entire series. I mean, there are like 20-something volumes, I think. Maybe even more, I'm not sure, but I think that I'll just continue on with this because it was very weird, but also very intriguing. So if you like graphic novels, if you like horror graphic novels, or just creepy graphic novels, I think that this one would be a good pick for you. The next book that I finished this week was Nevernight by Jay Kristoff. I loved this book. Oh my god, I loved it. But I do have to give a couple of warnings for Nevernight. Nevernight is a very dark book. It has a lot of dark humor. So I think it's important to know that going in, and I also think that it's important to know that there's very mature content in here. I think this is a YA novel, I'm not sure, but I definitely wouldn't recommend it for younger readers. This has very graphic content, language, violence, and also graphic sexual scenes. So I just thought I'd throw that out there just in case that bothers you, or in case you're a younger reader and don't want to read about this. But that is not what this is about. This is not a romance. This is not anything like that. This is a very dark book about an assassin named Mia, and Mia had something very horrific happen to her when she was younger, with her parents and everything, and she is just living on getting vengeance for her family. And all she wants is to be able to get to this school. It's basically a school for assassins, and she meets up along the way with another would-be assassin. His name is Trick, and they sort of, go on this journey of trying to find this school. And there's a lot of tests that they have to go through on this journey, including murder. I mean, this is not for the faint-hearted. I did really love it, though, having said all of that. And this does take you back in time. So most of the book takes place in the present, where they're going to this school for the assassins, and part of this book is in the past, where you're finding out what happened to Mia as a child. And the only thing that threw me off, so I gave this 4.5 stars, and the only thing that threw me off with this book is the past. All of the scenes and pages written from the past are written in italics, and it was hard for me to read. It gave me a headache after a while, but and it's also a very dense book. I want to try to find you a page so that you can kind of see what I'm talking about. So it's a very dense book. I hope you can see that. You probably can't see the italics. And it's also not broken up. I mean, it, it was a little bit difficult because the chapters are, I mean, it's broken up into chapters, obviously, but the chapters sort of take a start on the same page as the previous chapter ended. So it doesn't start on a brand new page. Um, so that's what I mean when I said it's very dense. It also has a lot of footnotes, which was really strange because I kept on having to go to the bottom of the page, and sometimes the footnotes would take up a half of a page. So it was really quite a lot of footnotes that he had in here, and that was a little bit strange as well. But otherwise, I really loved this book. I think that if you like dark humor, if you like dark books, or if you want, are you just in the mood for something like that, I think this would be a really great one to read. And I'm really glad that I picked it up, especially this one. The next book that I finished this past week was Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. This was another 5-star read. I loved this. It's such a good reading week. Dark Matter is about a man named James Desson. Am I right? Jason Desson. Jason Desson is a happily married man. He's middle-aged. He has a teenage son, and through an event while meeting his buddy one night, he is attacked, and when he wakes up, he is no longer the same person that he was before he was attacked. He wakes up and all of a sudden he is this acclaimed scientist. He is not married. He never married. Doesn't have a child, obviously. And it sort of explores the possibility of what if your life had taken a different turn? What if you had made different choices? What if your life turned out differently? And it also explores the idea of string theory and, you know, the multiverse and all of these things. So I definitely would recommend this to anybody that likes, this isn't, again, you know, this isn't a horror novel. It's more of a creepy, sinister mystery type novel. And I loved it. And I think that if you enjoyed, like me, if you enjoyed the series of Wayward Pines, that you would really enjoy this book as well. That's really why I picked it up, because I loved Wayward Pines so much. The TV series I've never read the books. But I know that it was based off of the books written by Blake Crouch. So I really recommend this. I think that it's such a good book, and I'm so happy that I picked it up. And the last book that I finished this past week is The Haunting by Shirley Jackson. I actually read the book and also watched the 1963 version of the film. Okay, so I gave this book 3.5 stars. I really did enjoy it. I had a couple of issues, and it was just a really weird book. So this is about a young woman named Eleanor. Eleanor is very socially repressed due to, you know, events in her life. She's about 32, I think, in the book. And she is invited along with a couple of other people to Hill House. She's invited by this doctor, Dr. Montague, and he is sort of writing a book about paranormal events and haunted houses, because Hill House has a reputation for being a haunted house. So she is invited along with 2 other people aside from the doctor, and they sort of are tasked with living in this house for a certain amount of time and seeing if anything weird happens. So many strange things start happening in this house, noises and, writings on the wall and different things. And Eleanor also has a strange connection to the house, also feels a very strange connection to the house. In this book, all we have is Eleanor's point of view, and you sort of learn early on that she's not really a reliable narrator, and there are sort of questions as to whether she's reliable, whether she is sane or not, and you really can only see things through her point of view throughout the entire book, which was also really strange. I had a hard time connecting to Eleanor, but I did find her point of view to be fascinating in and of itself. So I will say that this is not your classic horror story. This book was written in 1959, and it's not, your horror story where you have ghosts or vampires or werewolves or anything of that sort. This is more about, the house itself, which is almost described as sort of almost a living, breathing thing. And, a lot of the writing is around describing this house and the weird, the weird way in which it was built and the sort of disproportionate measurements and towers and all of those things. So I really did like this book. One of the problems I had with it was some parts of the writing. So Shirley Jackson has very weird, quirky types of writing in some parts of the book, not the entire book. And she also has this thing of repeating certain phrases. And that kind of threw me off at times. I don't know what it was. That's probably just me. So I definitely wouldn't take that as a reason not to read this book. It just kind of threw me off at times. There was this one phrase, lovers meeting. I can't remember the entire phrase, but it was repeated like every few pages and it didn't seem to fit what was going on and I didn't understand the purpose of that phrase. So it kind of threw me off at times and I thought that was a little bit weird. But overall, I did really enjoy this book. Like I said, it's not really a horror, but more of a suspenseful mystery, I think. That's really the way I can explain it best. And there were times that I really felt creeped out. So I definitely would recommend this. I think it's a great horror story to give a try, even though it's more suspenseful mystery. And yeah, so those are all of the books that I finished this past week. I thought it was such a good reading week. I really enjoyed all of these books, especially Dark Matter and Nevernight. So that is all I have for you. I hope that you have a wonderful day. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all next time.